Hello everyone, my name is Joshua. This is the 69th video of my video journal series. Today's date is Saturday, the 18th of April, 2026. How's everyone been? I've been very good, thank you. I've just been at home all day, doing some work. But I was in my bedroom and I started looking around me and I just saw the materialistic possessions that I own. It really got me thinking, in a hypothetical scenario, what if I had to leave my house? What if I had to go overseas for a work thing? Not that this is real, by the way. It's just a hypothetical scenario. Or what if I was only given a very small briefcase or suitcase, and um, I could bring anything along with me as long as it fitted in that, I guess, small um, uh, case. And it really got me thinking, what are the things that I'll bring along? Obviously, I'll bring along clothing, um, you know, toiletries, the essentials really. I'll bring along maybe a Nintendo Switch and my 3DS as well. And obviously all the games, but I'm not sure if they'll be able to fit entirely within the small briefcase. Um, and obviously, I'll bring a few more, I guess, sentimental objects and things, but it really got me thinking about that because I guess there's a lot of instances in life where people are forced to move houses or forced to move from one location to another and they can't bring everything along with them. Or, here in Australia, whenever, um, you know, homes get wrecked by bushfires or floods or other natural disasters, same thing with around the world, really. Um, you know, everyone's, I guess, materialistic possessions are, destroyed. Those who are affected by it, and they don't get the option of, I guess, choosing what they want to save or not because they're going to leave the area immediately. And, obviously, there's some parts of the world where they're raged by, obviously, war, conflict, and you're suddenly, I guess, forced to move from one location to another, um, which is just like horrible to see, all of that in the news. And, really got me thinking. Obviously, I'm grateful for the things that I'm blessed with, I guess, here in Australia: peace, security, safety. But, obviously, the small, I guess, things in life like, basic toiletries, I guess, sanitation, hygiene products, you know, food, water, really like, I guess, the essential um, materialistic things that I own. But it got really me thinking. What about the non-essential stuff that I own? What should I guess do with that? Because I've been really thinking about it, and I'm just like, all right, well, what if there's not only, I guess, a situation where I might only be able to bring a few items with me and leave the rest behind, but what is, I guess, frugality like? And I guess I'm more leaning towards, I guess, minimalism. But since saying minimalism extremely fast at night, it's just gonna like twist my tongue. I'll just say frugality, but I truly mean, I guess, more of a minimalist approach. So yeah, it really got me thinking about that, I guess, sense of frugality. And I know frugality is like just the essentials. It's like a more extreme version of, I guess, minimalism. But yeah, I guess really just got me thinking about what if I just started, I guess, owning less. Um, but would that, I guess, really impact my emotional, I guess, connection with the stuff that I own? Because I feel like by only owning the stuff that has, I guess, importance to you, you actually just save a lot more on space, really. There's a bunch of things in my room I can most probably do without, most probably donate it or sell it off. Because the way I see it is, the less, I guess, things that you own, um, it's more easier to move around. And I feel like I'm someone who's most probably going to move around a lot more in the future. Um, So I guess I want to prepare myself saying, all right, if I have to move around and I'm only forced to bring a few items with me, then obviously I want to reduce, I guess, that weight load and only really, I guess, keep the stuff that has immense emotional support, I guess, importance towards me, my family, friends, and all that. Obviously, you wouldn't throw away, I guess, um, a sentimental object given by one of your best friends, even if it has little monetary value to, I guess, um, the outsider. For you, it really means a lot, and that's what you should keep. Um, and yeah, but I guess I once heard the expression that money doesn't give you happiness. Um, but I feel like it's more like don't let objects own you, that sort of thing. Because obviously it's kind of, I guess, insensitive to say money doesn't buy you happiness in today's world. Because obviously people need money and all of that to survive, and I think it sends a little bit of a wrong message where it's like avoid money sort of thing, but you kind of need money. So money is an incredibly powerful tool. I feel like if you don't know how to you know much like a power drill, if you don't know how to operate a power drill, you're most likely going to get injured, or it's going to negatively impact your life and those around you. Uh, but if you just have a lot of money and you ain't prepared to, I guess, invest it wisely or handle such immense wealth, then you know you're most likely going to end up one of those billionaires buys his 50th mega yachts and lives in a luxurious mansion but has no friends and blows all his money within a year and then suddenly homeless. Um, or just socially disconnected from everyone else. And I think that's a good way to phrase up money. It's an incredibly powerful tool, but you need to know how to take control of it responsibly. You need to know how to operate isn't the right word, but essentially command it. Don't let it be the other way around, because that is just, I guess, you know, it's not only, I guess, a sin within the Christian Bible, but it just makes you feel void essentially. Um, you know, Whenever, I guess, someone is extremely consumed within a hobby, it could be ranging from chess to even, I don't know, um, do people really get, I guess, like really, really heated about chess so much so to like isolate themselves from everyone else? Because chess is a two-player game. Last time I checked, so you can't really like, I guess, play by yourself unless it's against the bot or something like that. But even, I guess, a sport like chess can be addicting. Um, you know, and obviously there's nothing wrong with playing chess. I'm not, hating upon it because I'm bad at chess. No, chess is, I guess, a very fun game to play. I know, I guess I'm really out of touch by saying it's fun, but I guess it really like brings out your, I guess, critical thinking skills. But if you do nothing but just play chess all day, then that just consumes your life. And at that point, are you really, I guess, pursuing your hobby because you love it, or because you're, I guess, so drawn into it that you kind of act like a zombie, And I've definitely been in those places before, especially with video games, and I love video games. Video games are great, but I feel like with any of your, I guess, hobbies that you're extremely passionate with, it's really easy to fall, I guess, into that, I guess, zombie trap where let your hobby consume you and you don't find enjoyment in it anymore. You're just doing it just for the sake of doing it or to get a high score without truly feeling passionate about it. Yeah, and I guess that's what I really have to say about, I guess, materialist materialistic possessions. And I've been trying to, I guess, be quote unquote a little bit more frugal. Can I pronounce this right? Frugal or minimalist. Obviously, I'm still gonna buy the stuff that I'm interested in, video games, clothes, music. But obviously, if I don't have to spend money on something, I won't. I mean, especially today's, economy, I can't really afford to. But I've been, I guess, chasing more experiences. Like instead of, I guess, spending money on materialistic things, I, you know, spend money at, I guess, restaurants. Instead of getting fast food all the time, I like to go to maybe a nice restaurant, even if it's once every fortnight or month sort of thing. Um, because you get like an experience with it, And I already stated how I like traveling, um, domestic and abroad. So obviously, I've been saving up my money for, I guess, more trips. And, obviously now it's quite hard to save up money, especially when you're um, unemployed and all that. So, um, but I never really stress. I've been trying not to stress about how much I have in my bank account because, like I said, money is just an incredibly powerful tool. Don't worship it, but be wise with it. Be in control of it instead of the other way around. Um, and I feel like uh, obviously a lot more people doing it tough than me when it comes to, I guess, finances. Or I guess you know just in life in general. And there's always help out there. And I guess if I had to give a piece of advice, um, it may not work for everyone, but just pursue the things that you're truly, I guess, passionate in life that you want to take control of. Um, and obviously, don't pay, I guess, don't let, I guess, price be the, sole, I guess, barrier to do something. Don't just hold off an overseas trip if you really, really want to go to this country because it might be a little bit too expensive. Obviously, if you can't afford it, then, um, it's I wouldn't really, I guess, know how to respond in that situation. I guess not everyone can, I guess, travel overseas, and that's why it's a privilege, um, I guess, quote unquote, because I guess it's only really been a relatively, I guess, new thing for affordable travel, essentially, where people can travel, you know, to the other side of the world for, you know, a lot less than what someone would have paid for maybe even a couple of decades ago, if that makes sense. But obviously, if you really want to travel the world, save up money, um, enough money as you can, and then just budget it. Go on a small Euro trip. Go to a trip across the Americas, and don't give up on those dreams. Um, and I try not to, I guess, look at the price of things. I try to look at the quality of things. I could spend a lot of money on, I guess, an experience, overseas. Um, but to me, I don't say to myself, hey, I spent, a couple of $1,000 going to a country for a few weeks and, just essentially living there. I just view it as an experience. I'm like, I spent quality time there. I think about all the fond experiences I've had for that country, and to me, that's, I guess, the real reward. And I just like, I guess, experiences now. Obviously, I like to maybe grab a few souvenirs along the way to give to family and friends, but I don't try and buy too much things for myself. For me, I just like taking photographs and pictures of the places I go. That connect. That's like my mini gift. Um, and obviously, like I said, don't, I guess, buy things for the sake of that item, or I guess experience being cheap. Um, you know, if you can, I always say prioritize quality over quantity. Don't go to, I guess, a country to appease people on social media or your families or friends. Go to a country that you're interested in, even if it may be, um, I guess, one that I guess no one's really heard of. Like, let's say, you go to, I don't know, let's say you go to, what's like a very, I guess, lesser known country by the Western world. Um, Man, I'm trying to say something that's like very, very. Let's say you're a very big fan of um, Seychelles. That's the country I'm gonna use. After like 20 seconds of thinking, I could think Seychelles, the African country. It's like a small little um, island on east of Africa. Let's say you really, really like Seychelles and you really want to go there. But you're seeing all your friends and I guess online media influencers go to like Paris, London, going to those cities located in France and the UK respectively. I'm not calling Paris and London countries, don't worry. Let's say, you see a bunch of people going there, taking photos and, they're very nice countries and all, but, you're not really into Europe. You want to go to Seychelles. And um, you go to Seychelles, you take pictures of your own, and you realize, hey, I like this little island. The wildlife, the people, the culture. Um, and yeah, I guess if you really like a country like Seychelles, then go to that country. Obviously, you got to exercise, I guess, appropriate tourist behavior, and obviously you got to look at, I guess, flights and safety and I guess travel advice from I guess your country's um, embassy or head of government. But I always say when it comes to traveling, just go to places you're interested at. And I guess don't go to places just solely to I guess appease other people. You just got to appease yourself. And I know this has been, I guess, quite a long video, and I've been taking like very big pauses, but that's because I'm mostly tired. It took me 20 seconds to name a country, like not really, I guess, known by the Western world. I just think, oh, Seychelles, nice little island, Um, Obviously, I don't know much about Seychelles. I only know, I guess, its name and the flag. I really like the flag of Seychelles. I love it. But, you know, yeah, and I guess that's something I'm going, I guess, forward is that I'm trying to, I guess, less own items. But by that, I mean, I guess, owning, I guess, prioritizing quality over quantity. I don't want to say I own like 10 cars, because I'm an immense car collector and I own 20,000 Rolls Royces, mind you. But, um, yeah, and to me, like, I don't really see the point in owning like a very, very expensive and flashy car, like a Ferrari, if it still goes because a Ferrari can only go the maximum speed limit here within Australia without breaking a law or without going onto like a private um, racing track. Um, I rather just own like a, I don't know, Honda Civic or like a Toyota Camry. Because it's not like if you own a Lamborghini, you can suddenly just go over the speed limit, as I guess many um, you know, people try and do nowadays. And whenever I'm in the city, whenever I see someone having like a very expensive sports car, I like to flash it and just rev up the engine, make as much noise. And I'm like, come on, that's just annoying, you know. What's so cool about contributing towards noise pollution and air pollution, you know? Um, but you know, I guess obviously there is a car culture and motorcycle culture, which I can respect. It's just that I sometimes just don't like when people rev up their engines really loud. It then like scares me for a bit. Um, you know, especially when you got like hooning culture late at night. You know, it's like if you want to, I guess, rev up your car engines, do it during the day. Don't do it like at night time when people are trying to sleep. You know, and obviously like I like classic cars and all that, and I like watching races and all that when you can hear the engines, I guess, really be utilized. But if you ask me, if you're out on the road, you should be focusing more upon safety than trying to impress people. Um, your own personal safety and others around you. But anyway, I think that's enough of me talking. It's been a really long video, especially for a weekend. Um, yeah, and that's yeah. Oh, like I'm seriously convinced I'm just gonna doze off, and then I suddenly like wake up and realize, oh yeah, I've been recording for like 12 hours. If I haven't said that joke already. But anyway, yeah. So that's what I view basically materialism and I guess trying to you know really cut down on not only just spending but just how much stuff I own. Especially now when I'm in this garage, I can see a lot of stuff that we'll probably never use as a family ever again, like Cluedo, Life, Monopoly. I'm not talking about, I guess, those large board game boards, but we have like these mini ones that we got a couple of years ago from like a newspaper. It's like we got mini Monopoly, mini Game of Life, mini Cluedo. It's just got like there's like a stack of them just out of the camera range on my shelf here, and I guess it makes for a good. Excuse me. It makes for a good display piece, but if I'm not going to use it, then what's the point? Anyway, so I'm before I fall asleep. Thank you all for watching. I guess I'll catch you all later. Bye. See ya. Take care. See ya.